Hello, my name is Sonia, and this is video number 9 in my series, The Basics of Crochet, and today we're going to learn how to increase our stitches. And this will also be a lot of good practice because we're going to be working with all of the stitches that we've just learned, which would be the single crochet, the double crochet, the half double crochet, and the triple crochet. So to increase means to make more, so that's what we're going to learn how to do. So today I am working with a G hook, or 4.25 millimeter. You can also work with a 4 millimeter, or an H hook, which is 5 millimeter, or an I hook, which is 5.5 millimeter. We're working with G today, and we have worsted weight yarn. So we're going to start with a chain, because again our chain is our foundation. We're going to start with single crochet stitches, and again we have to make a slip knot before we work our chain, so again it's not too tight or too loose on our hook. And we're going to start with a row, or a row of 5 single crochet. But we need to make 6. So there's 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to work 1 row of 5 single crochet. So we're going to skip our first stitch, insert in the second, yarn over. So there's 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. Alright, so we have our 5 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, we can just say that row 1 is going to be our right side. So that would mean like all odd rows would be the right side. So the next row, we are going to increase these stitches by 2, so that we are going to have a row of 7. And a lot of times when you're increasing stitches, it's for shaping or making different shapes. So it's important to know how to do that. And it's very simple. You'll be surprised at how simple it is. And usually in a pattern it doesn't say increase. What it would say is, so here is our card single crochet. So you would see SC, you know that that stands for single crochet. So to know that it's an increase, you're increasing, usually there's a number in front of it. So it would have like a number 2, SC, single crochet. So 2 single crochet. So we are going to increase by 2 for the next row to have, instead of 5, have 7. So we need to chain 1, we need to turn, flip our work. We're going to work on our very first stitch here, just like normal, and the next stitch we're going to increase. So all that means is you're usually you're just going to work 2 stitches in 1. So you're going to insert your hook just like normal, yarn over just like normal, pull through the 1, yarn over again, pull through the 2 there. So now we've made a second single crochet for our second row, but we want to increase. So all you need to do is you're going to put your hook right back in that same spot, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So now we have made 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're going to keep going. Just going to work 1 because I like symmetry, so I'm going to want it to look kind of triangular. So now the next stitch we're going to work, we're going to increase. We're going to work 2. So there's 1 stitch, and we're going to insert our hook again right in the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over. So now we have 2 stitches, and then we're just going to work 1 single crochet in the last stitch. And now we'll see if we have 7, because we increased by 2. So we're going to turn our work a little bit on it so it looks like a row of chains on its side, and let's zoom in just a hair. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So yes, we do indeed have 7, just what we wanted. So the next row we're going to work in double crochet. So to start our double crochet, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to turn our work. So again, this is going to count as a stitch, so we're not going to work in here, we're just going to work even. So to work even, if it says that in a pattern, just means to work in each stitch across. So we're going to do our yarn over first. So we're not going to work in here, we're going to work in here. So we're working even. So we do our yarn over, pull through, yarn over, yarn over. So now we have 2 double crochet. I'm going to keep going across because we're working even, and we should have a total of 7. And then the next row, which would be row 4, we are going to increase in that row. So we're going to go from 7 to 9, and it's the same principle as single crochet. You just work 2 stitches in one. Now some patterns might have you increase even more. They might say you know, work 4 single crochet in a stitch. So that's why it's important to know how to read a pattern and know what those things mean. So we've worked a row of double crochet, and it should be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And again, our chain 3 here is counting as a stitch. Alright, so now we're going to chain 3 again, and we're going to turn our work for row 4, and we're increasing on this row. So this is going to be our first stitch here, the chain 3, and we're going to increase in this stitch here. We're going to work 2 double crochet in that stitch to work the increase. And again, just like single crochet, just put your hook right back in there and work your double crochet. So now we have 1, 2, 3. And we're going to keep double crocheting across until we get to the second to the last stitch, and we're going to work our next increase because we want to increase by 2 times because we want to have a total of 9 stitches. So again, it's important to know how to count, you know, remember what you're doing. So we are in the second to the last stitch here because again, this counts as a stitch. So I'm already working the 1 stitch, and I'm going to go right back in there to increase to work the second one. And then we have to work in our turning chain here. So again, just get that hook in that chain. Sometimes you kind of have to wiggle it in there. Just make sure you work it so you have the right amount of stitches. Alright, so we've completed row 4 of our increase swatch here, and we should have 9. So here, and again, double crochet is easy to count because they're taller. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we are doing good. We're on the right track. We've increased to 9. So the next row we're going to do is a half double crochet. So I want you to practice all of increasing with all the basic stitches that we've learned so far. So to half double crochet, we're chaining 2 and returning our work. So this is row 5, and again the chain 2 is going to count as a stitch. So we're not going to work in here, we're going to work even across, so we're just going to work 1 in each stitch across in half double crochet. So we yarned over, we insert our hook in the next stitch, yarn over, we have our 3 loops, yarn over, we're going to pull through all 3 of those guys there. So now we have 2. And we should have 9. So 3 we'll count when we get to the end just to make sure. Because you want to make sure you have the right stitches, especially when you're working a pattern, because there's nothing worse than getting to the end of a pattern and then you realize, oh, I've messed up my count, and then your project is all messed up. And so that's just a drag, because then you have to, well, I'm a perfectionist, so then I would have to unravel it. Some people don't care as much, but I do, especially if I'm giving it to someone. You want it to look nice, so then you have to start over, or it's annoying. So that's why it's good to just pay attention. So we're working in our last chain there. our chain 3 of our double crochet. So let's see if we have 9. So this guy here, our chain 2 counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So yes, we have 9 stitches in half double crochet, and the next row, so let's see how many rows do we have so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So row number 6, we're going to increase again by 2 in half double crochet. So we're going to chain 2, we're going to turn, so we're going to flip our work. So now we are on row 6, and we're not going to work in this first stitch here because this chain 2 counts as our first stitch. We're going to work in the second stitch here and increase in that stitch. So we do our yarn over, and we insert our hook in the stitch, yarn over, we have our 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, and we want to increase by 2 so that we go from 9 to 11. We're going to work 2 stitches right in there, so you go right back in there, work your second half double crochet. So now we have 1, 2, 3 half double crochet. We're going to keep working across to the second to the last stitch, and we're going to increase in that stitch because again I like symmetry, so I'm weird that way. So I want this to be symmetrical. But some projects, depending what you're making, you might want to increase that way, so it's kind of leaning over to the one side. It just depends on what you're making. So we're almost to the second to the last stitch in our half double crochet. So okay, we're in the second to the last stitch here. And again, sometimes with half double crochet it can get a little crunchy, but it's there. So we're yarning over, we're inserting in there, pull through, so there's 1, and we want to increase, so we're going to just stick our hook right back in there, 2, and we can't forget this guy here, our turning chain. So we'll get him in there. Made that chain a little tight. You don't want to make it too tight because it can be a pain. And pull through. Okay, so we've increased in half double crochet for row 6, and we should have 11. So let's count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we are on the right track here. You can see it almost looks like shaped like a little basket or something. And we're going to increase in triple crochet because this will be really good practice for all working the stitches and learning how to increase. So for triple crochet, we're going to chain 4, and it will count as our stitch. So we've chained 4, we need to turn our work. So we're on row 7. We're going to work even across in triple crochet. So again, we're going to skip this stitch here because this counts as our first stitch. So again, we have to yarn over twice to start triple crochet. So we already have 3 loops, and we're going to work in the next stitch here. Insert our hook, yarn over. We're going to yarn over through these 2, these 2, these 2. Now we've completed 2 triple crochet. Yarn over twice, insert our hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over. And it's important that you yarn over twice for triple crochet. It's very easy to forget, and then you just made a double crochet. So we're going to keep going till we get to the end because we're working even, so that just means 1 stitch in each